Good morning, my dear students. Let us continue from where we have ended our previous discussion, the introduction of pharmacology. So, today I am going to give you a little bit of introduction on how to write a prescription. Because in the clinical subject, whenever you will be exposed to those subjects like medicine, surgery, gynae ops, pediatrics, orthopedics, eye, ENT, you have to write a prescription, and how to write a prescription will be taught by the Department of Pharmacology. Now, by the term prescription, we mean uh, basically an order given by a registered medical practitioner to the pharmacist as well as to the patient to make justice to the order given in a paper where his registration number is mentioned. So basically, it should be written by a registered medical practitioner. It is basically an order. This order will be given to the pharmacist and the patient both, and both of them, they have no right to change the direction, the preparation, the dose given by a registered medical practitioner. So much of power is actually enjoyed by the medical practitioner, which is not seen in our country because of illiteracy, rather improper education, even the awareness among the doctors, awareness among the patients. So if we can implement it properly, we can definitely uh, will be able to minimize medication errors. We can increase medication safety. Can minimize adverse drug reactions, and we can also uh, be able to prevent different types of unnecessary adverse drug reactions. So the prescriptions are can be classified into two types. The one is known as extemporaneous prescriptions, and in today's world, in the clinical practice, whatever the prescription we are actually given are not extemporaneous one. A prescription that directs the pharmacist to compound the specified medication is called extemporaneous prescriptions. In my childhood, I was given mixture to minimize or suppress my fever. I can remember that, and it was actually made by a pharmacist. So the direction from the doctor given to the pharmacist, and pharmacist was preparing that mixture, and that mixture is basically a mixture which will reduce fever. Now that kind of prescription is known as extemporaneous prescriptions. Whereas in today's world, in today's practice, we are already having different capsule, tablets, injections, all the ready-made forms. And as contrasted with the prescription that specifies medications available, these are called pre-compounded prescriptions. So these are already made, and hence the type, the the way we are actually dividing different steps of prescriptions are also being changed a little bit. But we'll start with the traditional one, which is a very important one, uh, which is also actually meaning that you have to follow basically the pharmacist has to follow the instructions given by a doctor, and then onwards I will tell you what are the little bit of changes have been taken place in today's prescription, and accordingly we will try to modify our written order. So what are the different parts of prescriptions? It can be of four types. The first type, or the uppermost type, is called the superscription, and it is symbolized as Rx. R and X are not separate. It's a continuous thing. You just see R and X are almost a single entity, and it comes from the Latin word receive. It means take thou. Is basically an written order to the pharmacist to dispense and compound that preparation. The second part is called inscription or the body of the prescriptions, and in that part we will mention the quantity, the ingredients, and you can also mention the dose. So that is the part of inscription. In the subscription, that means the lowermost part, you will tell the pharmacist how to compound the preparation, and this was basically uh, existing in case of extemporaneous prescription. In today's world, in today's clinical practice, in case of pre-compounded prescriptions, almost this subscription part is eliminated, and the last part is the direction. In simple English it is direction, and in the Latin term it's called signature or signatura. So that is the last part of prescription, and at the end, at the right hand side, you have to give your signature and registration number. Registration number is must as per MCI protocol in today's world, and in the left hand side you have to mention the date. So let us see how the extemporaneous prescription is being made. So at the top you see there is something written for Mr. X, 20 years, male. So that part I haven't mentioned in the previous slide. That part is called patient particulars, and here in this standard prescription format or protocol, I haven't mentioned anything about signs, symptoms of the disease or investigations like that. In pharmacology, we will only tell you the proper way of writing the therapeutic aspect of a prescription. So just recollect what we had we have been seeing in the last slide. This Rx is called the superscription. Then comes the preparations in different doses: homatropine hydrobromide, sodium chloride, and the solution of for eye drop. It add up to 20 ml. So that is the inscription. That means the body. It mentions the dose, and then the subscription, where you are giving direction to the pharmacist that mix and make an eye drop. Now in two parts there are instruction to the pharmacist. In the superscription, where Rx is written, that is also an instruction to the pharmacist, not to the patient. Rx also means that you are taking oath in the name of Greek god Jupiter. So that is another way of looking at Rx, but traditionally we are actually mentioning that take thou. That means you are giving written order to the pharmacist, and pharmacist has no right to change your prescription. And here you will see the last part, that is signature or the direction. This part is also called transcription. That is not written here, so it has two synonyms: signature, direction, and transcription. The direction is 2 drops to be instilled in each eye at 10 minutes interval, 1 hour before dark room examination. So basically patient probably exposed to a refractor error testing, and that's the reason why this kind of instruction direction was given. ABC stands for the signature, where this ABC this ABC is basically this signature, and left hand side you see the in the left hand side you see the date. So here you will see the date and here you will see ABC is basically stand for signature, but you also have to mention the registration number of the doctor. In the next slide you will see the repetition of the same. You just see that for Mr. X, 20 years male, this is also a kind of extemporaneous prescription. The quinine sulfate, which is given in case of malaria, especially chloroquine resistant malaria, and that is given in 0.3 gram, and that is called basis. Basis means the crude drugs. The definition of WHO definition of drug, which I mentioned in the initial slide, it basically stands for this basis, that is the crude drug. And you are adding sulfuric acid, which is diluted 0.6 ml as an adjuvant, syrup of orange, which is basically a corrigent, will come to corrigent in the next slide, and the chloroform water, which is basically a vehicle. That means it will carry that quinine at its target space or target lesions or target cells. Now the whole part, these basis, adjuvant, corrigent, vehicle, these part is basically the medicine. The combination of these four is called medicine. If you take the crude basis, then it is the drug only, nothing else. If this basis is the main thing, then this is the crude drug, and when you combine these four, it will become medicine, and the whole thing is basically becoming the inscription or the body of the prescription. And as I said, RX stands for superscription, that is the take thou, written order to the pharmacist. Prepare an uniform mixture, send 3 such, that is basically a part of subscription. And subscription, as I said, being almost being eliminated from the pre-compounded prescriptions which we are writing right now. And at the end you are giving the direction to the patient, that is also known as signature. It also can be called transcription, and that is written as 1 dose thrice daily. Then date at the left hand side, initial, that means the signature, that should be ABC or XYZ, and if possible registration number. So that will give you a complete picture of an extemporaneous or traditional prescription. By the term corrigent, we mean a substance which is added to a medicine to modify its action or counteract a disagreeable effect. So here you see the corrigent is syrup of orange. It will counteract the bitter taste of quinine. An adjuvant is basically a treatment that enhances an existing medical regimen as a pharmacological agent added to a drug to increase or aid its effect. It can be an immunological agent to improve the antigenic response, and it contribute or enhance an existing medical regimen, like we are using the same term as adjuvant chemotherapy. So adjuvant has different meaning, but here it means that it is enhancing an existing medical regimen. Here you see the sulfuric acid diluted is basically an adjuvant. Now we'll come to the main part, which is basically the pre-compounded prescription, and here I am giving you a problem where the problem we are trying to solve the problem with a protocol based pre-compounded prescription. A 55-year-old male X is complaining of pain abdomen relieved after taking some food. He was diagnosed as a case of duodenal ulcer. Prescribe a remedy for the disease. Now it is already being said, that means diagnosis has been done, so you know a patient is having that duodenal ulcer, and there are some drugs. Already we know that these drugs are given in case of duodenal ulcer. So here we are starting with patient particulars. Patient particular is for Mr. X, 55 years male. This is not the classical part of prescription, but this should be written at the very beginning, followed by superscription, that is RX, that means take thou. Then comes the tablet pantoprazole. Each tablet contains 40 milligrams. This is basically the body of prescriptions, and dosage form is tablet. So 40 milligram is the dose and tablet is the dosage form. And then to maintain a certain uh, simulation with extemporaneous prescription, we have mentioned send 42 tablets. That means we are trying to mention the subscription part over here, but whenever we are writing this kind of prescriptions, normally we skip that part. You will very rarely see a clinician is writing this kind of instructions in a prescription. But as a student of second year in pharmacology, you try to maintain this protocol so that you will be able to also mention the subscription part in case of pre-compounded prescription. Then comes the direction, and one tablet to be taken orally 30 minutes before breakfast for 6 weeks. Then comes the date and ultimately the signature. Direction, the synonyms are signatura and transcription, and this signature can be ABC or XYZ, and you also have to mention the registration number at the right hand side and date at the left hand side. Now if we want to discuss this prescription, firstly we have to know what is an ulcer. Ulcer means the breach of continuity of any tissue. Now if it involves your intestinal mucosa, then it can be of anatomically it can be of two types: duodenal ulcer and gastric ulcer. Now clinically you can classify it just by knowing the fact whether the pain is relieved after pain or not. If it is relieved after taking food, then probably it's a case of duodenal ulcer. Otherwise, there are some diagnostic tests like endoscopy, barium mill. So with the help of those things, you can diagnose a case of duodenal ulcer. Now there are different reasons of producing ulcer. It always doesn't mean that there is excessive hydrochloric acid synthesis which will allow the formation of duodenal ulcer in a case of any patient. It may happen the hydrochloric acid synthesis is normal, but still the patient is having ulcer. Ulcer is maybe associated with one bacterial infection that is called Helicobacterium pylori. So it is known as H. pylori associated duodenal ulcer. So these are all theoretical aspects. Now how you can treat this ulcer? You can treat this ulcer by reducing hydrochloric acid synthesis if the hydrochloric acid synthesis is more. If it is normal, then you can prescribe some kind of acid neutralizing agent like antacids, and if it is probably having some other problems like associated H. pylori infection, then you may have to go with 3-drug regime where you have to prescribe 2 of the antimicrobial agents. One is clarithromycin, the second one is metronidazole, and with that you can prescribe pantoprazole like drug. Now pantoprazole is a drug which is basically an irreversible inhibitor. So it is causing non-competitive inhibition of what? It is causing non-competitive or irreversible inhibition of an enzyme which is present at the canaliculi of the parietal cell, and that is known as hydrogen potassium ATPase. So as hydrogen is there, it is also known as proton pump inhibitor. So there are different drugs belonging to this group of proton pump inhibitors. Primary function is to reduce hydrochloric acid synthesis. The first drug is omeprazole, then pantoprazole, rabeprazole, then comes your these three esomeprazole. So all these things are basically uh, the examples of proton pump inhibitors. So with this much of information, I am concluding the first part of introduction of the practical as well as the theoretical part of pharmacology. Thank you so much.